The smell of fresh pancakes wafted through my kitchen, a kitchen I hadn't cooked in for days. Standing there in her crisp business suit, spatula in hand, was Catherine Miller, the same woman who'd made my professional life hell for the past 6 months. The same woman who, just yesterday, had witnessed me at my lowest moment. If you're wondering how my intimidating boss ended up making breakfast in my home at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday, stick around. This story might just change the way you see the people in your life. Sometimes the ones who push us hardest are the ones who care the most. If this resonates with you so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories that remind us we're never truly alone in our struggles. My name is Daniel Hayes. 3 years ago, I became a single father when my wife Lisa died unexpectedly from an aneurysm, leaving me alone with our daughter, Emma, who was only 4 at the time. The grief nearly destroyed me, but Emma needed me, so I pushed forward one day at a time. I worked as a senior project manager at Horizon Technologies, a mid-sized software company in Seattle. The pay was good, the hours were reasonable, and my previous boss had been understanding about my situation. But 6 months ago, everything changed when Catherine Miller took over the department. Catherine was brilliant, driven, and seemingly heartless. She expected perfection and had no patience for excuses, even legitimate ones. She was younger than me by a few years, unmarried, and rumored to have sacrificed everything for her career. The office nicknamed her the Ice Queen, though never to her face. From day one, we clashed. Where my previous boss had understood when I needed to leave early for Emma's school events or stay home when she was sick, Catherine saw only missed deadlines and incomplete work. Your personal life is your business, Daniel, but when you're on company time, I expect results, she'd say, her voice cool and professional, but her eyes hard as steel. I tried to explain my situation, but she cut me off. Everyone has problems, Daniel. The difference is how we manage them. Last Monday began like any other day, rushed and chaotic. Emma had woken up with a slight fever, but not high enough to keep her home from school. I made her breakfast, packed her lunch, and dropped her at school with a promise to check on her at lunch. At work, Catherine immediately cornered me about a presentation I was supposed to give to potential clients the next day. The slides need to be completely redone, she said, dropping a stack of notes on my desk. The approach is all wrong. I need the revised version by end of day. I felt my stomach drop. Catherine, I've been working on this for weeks. The clients approved the outline. And now they've changed their minds about what they want to see. That's business. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and I need you to join the call with Tokyo at 7 p.m. Johnson is out sick. I can't do a 7 p.m. call. I have to pick up Emma and figure it out, Daniel. This account is worth millions. She walked away before I could respond. By noon, I was drowning in work when the school nurse called. Emma's fever had spiked to 102. I needed to pick her up immediately. I rushed to Catherine's office, finding her in a meeting with the executive team. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to leave. My daughter is sick at school. Catherine's expression didn't change. We're presenting to Tokyo in 7 hours, Daniel. I know, but she's 7 years old. I can't leave her at school with a high fever. The executive shifted uncomfortably. Catherine stared at me for a long moment, then said, fine. Go. But I expect you on that call at 7, and I need those slides before you leave. I spent the next 3 hours working frantically while Emma lay on the small couch in my office, her face flushed with fever. I called our regular babysitter, Mrs. Patel, but she was unavailable. I called 3 backup sitters, all unavailable. By 5 p.m., I was desperate. I finished the slides and emailed them to Catherine, then packed up Emma, who was now half asleep and burning up. As I rushed toward the elevator, Catherine stepped out of a conference room. Where are the printed copies of the presentation? She demanded. I emailed the files. I have to get Emma home. Daniel, we need physical copies for the executives. Catherine, look at her, I said, my voice breaking. Emma leaned heavily against me, her eyes glassy. She needs medicine and bed. I can't stay. Catherine's eyes flicked to Emma, then back to me. The Tokyo call. I'll try to make it remotely, I said, stepping into the elevator. That's the best I can do. At home, I gave Emma medicine and tucked her into bed. I set up my laptop in her room and joined the call at 7 p.m., muting my microphone whenever I needed to tend to her. The presentation was a disaster. The Tokyo team had questions I couldn't answer while juggling Emma's care. Catherine's face grew increasingly tight on the video call. After the call ended, my phone immediately rang. It was Catherine. What the hell was that? She demanded. I told you I couldn't do the call. Emma is really sick. You lost us that account, Daniel. Years of work, gone. What was I supposed to do? Leave my sick child alone? You were supposed to be professional. Find a sitter, a neighbor, a family member, something. I don't have family here, I said, my voice rising. Her mother is dead. It's just me. Just me, every single day, trying to be enough for her and enough for this job, and I'm failing at both. There was silence on the other end. Then, quietly, Catherine said, "We'll discuss this tomorrow," and hung up. I sat on the edge of Emma's bed, watching her fitful sleep, and for the first time in months, I broke down. The tears came hot and fast, the weight of everything, Lisa's death, the loneliness, the impossible juggling act of being both parents, the constant fear of failing Emma, it all crashed down on me at once. I cried until I had nothing left, then crawled into bed beside my daughter and fell into an exhausted sleep. The next morning, I woke to Emma shaking my shoulder. "Daddy, there's a lady in our kitchen." I bolted upright, disoriented. The clock read 6:15 a.m. Emma's forehead felt cooler, the fever had broken overnight. "What lady?" I asked, reaching for my phone. "She says she's your boss. She's making pancakes." I stumbled out of bed, still wearing yesterday's rumpled clothes, and made my way to the kitchen. And there she was, Catherine Miller, standing at my stove, flipping pancakes as if she belonged there. "What are you doing in my house?" I asked, bewildered. Catherine turned, spatula in hand. "Making breakfast. Emma said she likes pancakes with blueberries." She nodded toward the table, where a French press of coffee sat beside 2 mugs. "You look like you could use that." I poured myself coffee, trying to make sense of the situation. "How did you get in?" "Your neighbor, Mrs. Chen." I explained I was your boss and needed to drop off some work documents. "She has your spare key." Catherine flipped another pancake. "You should be more careful about who has access to your home. Why are you here?" Catherine was quiet for a moment, focusing on the pancakes. Then she said, "You left your laptop at the office. I thought you might need it." She nodded toward my laptop on the counter. "How's Emma?" "Better. The fever broke overnight." Catherine nodded, sliding a perfect pancake onto a plate where 3 others waited. "Good. Emma, breakfast is ready." Emma, who had been watching curiously from the doorway, came to the table. "Are you really Daddy's boss?" she asked. "I am," Catherine said, setting the plate in front of her. "Daddy says you're very demanding." Catherine's lips twitched. "Does he?" "Well, that's probably true." I sat down heavily, still confused. "Catherine, about yesterday." She held up a hand. "Eat first. We'll talk after." We ate in strange, almost companionable silence. The pancakes were delicious, light, fluffy, with just the right amount of blueberries. Emma chatted happily, her energy returning with her appetite. Catherine listened attentively, asking questions about Emma's school and friends. After breakfast, Catherine suggested Emma watch TV while we cleaned up. As soon as Emma left, I turned to Catherine. "I assume I'm fired," I said, bracing myself. Catherine rinsed a plate, her back to me. "No, you're not fired. But the Tokyo account. We didn't lose it." She turned to face me. "I stayed on the call after you left. Explained the situation. Apologized for the confusion. They've agreed to another presentation next week." I stared at her. "You covered for me?" "I did my job," she said simply. She dried her hands on a towel, then leaned against the counter. "Daniel, I owe you an apology." Of all the things I expected her to say, that wasn't one of them. "Last night, after our call, I was angry," she continued. "I was going to write you up, maybe even recommend termination. But then I remembered something you said, that it's just you. So I looked up your personnel file." I tensed. My personal tragedy wasn't something I discussed at work. "I didn't know about your wife," she said quietly. "I'm sorry for your loss." "Thank you," I said stiffly. "I also didn't realize you have no family in the area. No support system." She met my eyes directly. "I've been unfair to you. You've been demanding," I corrected. "That's your job. There's demanding, and then there's unreasonable. I crossed that line." She took a deep breath. "My father was a single parent too. My mother left when I was 4. He raised me alone, working 2 jobs. It was hard on him. Hard on both of us." I hadn't expected this personal revelation. The Ice Queen suddenly seemed very human. "I pushed myself to succeed so I'd never be vulnerable like he was," she continued. "Somewhere along the way, I forgot what he taught me about compassion." "Catherine. Let me finish. I'm not here just to apologize. I'm here to offer a solution." She straightened. "Horizon has a family support program for employees. Emergency childcare, flexible scheduling, work-from-home options. I should have enrolled you months ago. I didn't know about that program. Few people do. It's not well advertised." She smiled slightly. "I've already submitted the paperwork. You're approved to work from home 2 days a week, and there's a childcare service on call for emergencies." I was speechless. Additionally, she continued, I've reassigned some of your projects to balance your workload. And I'd like to introduce you to my father. He runs a support group for single parents. It helped him, it might help you too. Why are you doing this? I finally asked. Catherine was quiet for a moment. Because yesterday, when I saw you in the elevator with Emma, I saw my father 30 years ago. Trying so hard, all alone. She met my eyes. And because last night, I realized I've become exactly the kind of heartless executive I used to despise. Before I could respond, Emma bounded back into the kitchen. Can Catherine come over again? She makes better pancakes than you, Daddy. Catherine laughed, a real laugh, not the polite chuckle I'd occasionally heard at work. Maybe someday. But your dad makes pancakes with love, and that's the most important ingredient. As Catherine prepared to leave, she handed me a business card. My personal number. For emergencies. Real ones, not work ones. Thank you, I said, still processing everything. Not just for this, but for breakfast. For understanding. Understanding should have come sooner, she said. See you at the office tomorrow. Take today off, Emma needs you more than Horizon does. After she left, Emma looked up at me. I like her. She's nice. Yeah, I said, surprised to find I meant it. She is. That unexpected breakfast marked the beginning of a change, not just in my work life, but in how I viewed my situation. Catherine became not just a boss but an ally. The support program made juggling work and parenthood manageable. Her father's support group connected me with others who understood my struggles. 6 months later, Catherine and I sat in a conference room, celebrating the successful completion of the Tokyo project. We make a good team, she said. We do, I agreed. Though I still don't understand why you took a chance on me when you could have just fired me. Catherine was quiet for a moment. Because someone once took a chance on my father when he was struggling. It changed our lives. She smiled. Sometimes people just need someone to see them, really see them, and what they're going through. That morning in my kitchen, Catherine had seen me, not just as an employee who was failing, but as a human being doing his best under impossible circumstances. And in seeing me, she had changed everything. If there's one thing I've learned from this journey, it's that we never know the battles others are fighting. The colleague who seems difficult, the boss who pushes too hard, the parent who seems to be failing, they all have stories we can't see. Sometimes, the simple act of truly seeing someone can be the greatest gift we can give. And sometimes, an unexpected breakfast can be the beginning of healing. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe for more content that reminds us of our shared humanity. Remember, we're all just doing our best, and sometimes, that's enough.